times it may be necessary to break down the bed. Perhaps you have a shoulder dystocia and it's an emergency, or perhaps you just need to have better visualization whenever you're doing a perineal repair. These beds are designed to easily come apart. First thing you do is fold up the edges of the end of the bed. That'll expose the gray plastic handles. Lift straight up, and that will remove this from the bed. This exposes the foot pedals that can also be turned into stirrups, as well as your biohazard basin here. If you were to want to put the woman into foot pedals, you lift up and then squeeze in here in order to rotate the feet out the angle that you want. If you want to actually do stirrups, it may be necessary to lower the foot of the bed so that then you can elevate the leg rests. You pull down on this handle, flip it all the way around, loosen the leg strap. You'll put the short end towards her thighs where the curve comes down, and the end without the curve is where her feet will go. Then to tighten it into place, push on the handle this way. When you're doing stirrups, you would want to actually lift this all the way to a perpendicular right angle so that her feet can be out. When you are putting it back together, you do the same steps but in the opposite direction. So at this point, whenever you're not able to see the head yet, you don't have any reason to have your hands inside the woman. You want to wait for her to push, and right before the labia start to split, you'll see the perineum start to bulge. So you see the bulge beginning, and the head is starting to come. At this point, you want to be looking here at 6 o'clock of the vagina. As long as you have pink or pigmentation, then you have blood flow to the tissue and it's stretching. When it blanches white, that's when you want to be poised and ready to apply pressure in from the outside to create as much slack as possible at 6 o'clock. As the head starts to descend, the labia are going to spread. You want to use your top hand to push down on the back of the baby's head to effect flexion so that the head can clear the symphysis. As you push down on the baby's head, you want to squeeze in from the sides. You don't want to just pinch right here at 6 o'clock because that won't distribute the pressure or help to avoid lacerations. You also do not want to lay your hand across the lady's vulva because that can cause her to shred from the inside out. You want to push just down on the back of the baby's head. As the woman is pushing, you're watching the tissue stretch, squeeze in from the side, down from the back. As it starts to emerge, the head is naturally going to begin to extend. You push the perineum off the baby's face. The baby then will externally rotate, bringing the shoulders into the oblique angle. With your anterior hand, check for a nuchal cord. If there's one there, loop it up and take it around the baby's head. You then want to sandwich the baby's head in your hands. You do not want to grab it around the neck because you can cause nerve damage when you pull. So you sandwich the baby's head in your hands like this, then you do downward traction to get the anterior shoulder to come underneath the symphysis. Then you lift up to get the posterior shoulder to come out, and when you do, you want to look underneath to make sure that you don't have a compound presentation with the arms coming out. As you lift up, move your hands down the body. As the head is out, you want to hold on to the baby's body and rotate it to help the hips through the pelvis. Baby should be facing mom, and then when the hips come out, grab a hold of the legs, flip it up to your arm, and hold it like a football. Then you've got one hand free to clamp and cut the cord and manage your suction. If the table is intact and you're delivering it with the bed still attached, as the head comes out and you deliver the baby, it is okay to go ahead and put the baby down, do all of your drying and suctioning here. You can clamp and cut the cord there. You may also, as the baby comes out, after you've done a quick assessment to see that your baby is in good shape, you can put the baby right up on mom's belly and do all of the drying and stimulating here and clamping and cutting of the cord. Now we turn our attention to the placenta. We're watching for signs of placental separation. One of the signs would be perhaps a gush of blood or amniotic fluid coming from the vagina. Another might be to notice that the uterus is becoming very globular and anterior. Because you have a sterile field, you would use one of your sterile drapes to cover her abdomen and create a place for your hand suprapubically. This hand is going to be used for lower uterine segment support to help prevent uterine inversion. Another sign for placental separation is that you may see that the placenta cord starts to grow. And as it does, that's a sign that the placenta is ready to come. You would want to put the clamp perpendicular to the cord so that you can then apply even pressure across like this as you do downward traction. For the purpose of this video, we will not be using the clamp. So as you apply downward pressure on the cord, you would use your hand here to help support the lower uterine segment. When you see that the placenta is at the introitus, you'll notice that the vulva starts to bulge and the labia come apart. At that point, you want to stop going downward with your traction and lift up to help the placenta disc complete the curve of Caris. Then you catch it in one hand, drop the cord, and with your other hand begin to rotate the placenta in an effort to add tensile strength to the membranes so that they would all come out in one piece. Once the placenta is out, you use your anterior hand to aggressively perform fundal massage here to help the uterus clamp down and to prevent postpartum hemorrhage. After you know that you've got a firm fundus and she's not bleeding excessively, we turn our attention to the vulva, looking for any damage or lacerations, taking care to notice deep into the side walls, as well as here at the perineum, or any tears that may have occurred up underneath the labia.